If you're running your own business, do you consider yourself a business owner or do you consider yourself self-employed? I think too many people confuse these terms. Like I was at the bank setting up a bank account for my son. He's 5 years old. He hadn't had a bank account yet. And as I'm filling out the application, the person at the bank said, "Where do you work?" I told her it was my company. She said, "Oh, so you're self-employed." And I said, "Well, no. The company pays me a paycheck." And she said, "But you own the business?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "So you're self-employed." And for like the next week, it was all I could think about and it irked me and I couldn't figure out why. But the more I thought about it, I realized there's 5 different stages of owning a business. So which of the 5 are you in?
You've got to build your business around your life and not your life around your business.
Business ads are going to sell you a fake lifestyle of supercars and fancy mansions.
You can get a business up and running really quickly. So when you're just getting started, maybe you're more of an observer than anything. You're learning about entrepreneurship. If you've seen the Shark Tank, Mark Cuban calls these people entrepreneurs. I call them a little bit nicer term, entrepre-newbies. So you're like the newbie or the rookie that's trying to learn and you're soaking in all the knowledge. You're listening to podcasts, you're going to events, and you've got all the time in the world to be able to soak that stuff in, but you're making your income elsewhere. So this is where people might start to call themselves entrepreneurs. You've got an idea, you've started tinkering away, but it's not producing any kind of revenue. And that's what gives entrepreneurs a bad rap, that anyone can be one. So in that phase, just consider yourself more a student than anything and know that that opens up a lot of doors when you say you're just trying to learn. It worked really well for me when I was getting started. The next phase is when you're starting to produce some income, but it's like a side gig, a side hustle, something like that. There's actually a great podcast called Side Hustle School that talks about all the people that have started these little side gigs. And frankly, that's how Trainual started out. It was this little thing that paid enough money to cover my car every month. And then it covered my mortgage. And then my wife kept saying, "You should do something with this." But it took years before I ever acted on the idea. So at that stage, you're kind of like a night shifter. You know, you've got your job, your day job that produces income. And then you've got this thing that's showing some promise that you want to put more and more time into because it's delivering some value for you, either money or otherwise. At the third phase, this is the big one. This is where you're actually self-employed. It's that you're employing yourself through whatever means you choose. You're making enough income that you can live on, and it could be things like freelancing, it could be consulting, it could be rideshare driving or picking up gigs here and there, but however you're cobbling together that income, you're doing it, and you're not getting a paycheck from anyone else, you're not reporting to any boss, and this is where a lot of people end up, and where a lot of people just want to stop, because you can make an amazing income being self-employed. You've got no one to report to, you set your own schedule, and you can be in total control of how much money you make. So at that stage of entrepreneurship, you're self-employed. What changes is when your business starts to become more predictable, when you've got more revenue so that you don't have to do spontaneous bank account transfers to yourself or distributions. You can actually take a salary and you actually get a paycheck and you can actually afford other W-2 employees. And maybe you've got an office building. Now you're running a business. You've got a team, you've got customers, you've got predictable revenue. And at that stage, you're a business owner. You're no longer self-employed, the business employs you. You might even be organized as an entity like a corporation that is giving you a W-2 and you actually have a job for your own business even though you're the sole shareholder perhaps. And then the 5th stage, that's when you're really maturing the company and you're a true CEO. Now, a lot of people that are self-employed, a team of 1, a team of 3, you might put CEO on your business card, you might put CEO in your email signature, but until you're really removed from the day-to-day, maybe you've got a board of directors that you're responsible to, you've got other shareholders you're responsible to, that's when you become a true CEO. So wherever you are in your journey is totally fine, but know that not everyone's self-employed, not everyone is a business owner, and you've got to be clear about the terminology, because as you go from that student, that entrepreneur-newbie, to having a side gig or a night shift, to having a true self-employment where you set your job, you set your schedule, to having a business with employees, and then to having a true position as a CEO of your company, that's the life cycle. So hopefully this is helpful spelling it out, and maybe someone could share this video with the person at the bank that made me apply and think about this for weeks.